Hi everyone, I'm Kathy Anderson. I'm your instructor for Leadership in Healthcare Organization. I want to do a quick overview of the course and introduce myself and say welcome. I look forward to teaching this class. I've got a lot of experience in healthcare administration. I've managed physician offices, was the director of large physician billing offices for a large health system, billing for a couple hundred different physicians, multi-specialty. I actually worked out in Los Angeles at Cedars-Sinai and had quite a different experience out there with, they have a lot of faculty out there that are kind of the premier physicians in a lot of different specialty fields that create a lot of the new surgeries and procedures. Really interesting. So I've been a board member for the on the hospital organization, and I just think this is a really good class for me to teach because a lot of the concepts I've actually had to put into practice. So it's really good, and I know this is a higher level course. I know most of you, if not all of you, have finished your lower level courses. So most of you have experience with online learning and are ready for this type of course. If there's anything I can do to help you along the way, don't hesitate to email me because I am happy to help you. So just a quick overview of the course. I know every instructor does it a little bit differently. You're familiar with the courses in most cases. So you know how some courses are kind of very black and white information that you're learning and memorizing and returning back on discussion forums and exams. And then other courses are more conceptual, where they're looking for your views, demonstrate understanding of concepts, and then doing more essay type work with a lot of your analysis about things, like some of the LearnScape simulations, etc., require some of your ideas. Well, this course is interesting because it's actually a combination of both. Some of the exams are true, false, multiple choice. There's quizzes in that case, and then some are more essay based that are looking for you to demonstrate your understanding and to be able to write in an organized fashion and also create and write some of your analysis of the concepts we're going to talk about. So you are seeing this video obviously in the Meet Your Instructor link, and so be sure to review all of this information, very important. The homepage obviously is very important. You want to make sure that you read all announcements every time you come into the course. Once the course begins, any announcement I post will also send you an email to your Kaiser email address. So I actually download the Outlook app onto my phone so I can always see if one of you email me. I recommend that for you also so that you can tell if you got an announcement, an update, which are designed to help you know, to provide additional information for your assignments or make you aware of something that has changed. And so really important to check your Kaiser email account, as well as check the announcements every time you come into the course. Most of you know that in most of the courses, if not all, there's a discussion every week. So this is true of this course as well. And for full credit, the program really stresses citations in APA format, which I can send you a couple sites that I use to put my citations in APA format, but you've probably figured out the best way to do that by now. It requires active posts on 3 separate days for full credit. And, I'm a big fan of an organized post. So, people can have the best content, but if you've answered 3 or 4 questions in one big long paragraph, that's just not a good idea. Is that every instructor should be able to determine within a single moment whether you've responded to each item, and it should be separated by bullet points, numbers, separate paragraphs, etc. So that'd be true of all assignments. To have a very organized format is always going to help you out. As well as proofreading. Again, you've been at this for a while. My guess is that you're good at it, but just my experience with some students, very, very, very important to always proofread every post before submitting. I actually never send a text without proofreading it, just because of all that can happen. Why not make your communication clear? And what I want you to do is visualize yourself as healthcare administrators, so that any discussion post or essay or assignment or even email to me or whatever, you should consider that you are in a leadership role, you're a healthcare administrator, you're sending that communication to your boss, your staff, your manager, your director, one of the board of directors, a physician CEO or whatever, but you should always just put yourself in the mindset that you are working in a high-level role and every communication is being sent to someone higher up in your organization. Kaiser Lives, I can't overstress the importance, at least in my courses, for trying to join live or watching the recordings for the Kaiser Live sessions. So to watch them, the weeks are set up, you would just come in if you're going to join live and click over here and then say join session. If you are not able to join live, you click on these 3 horizontal bars, which leads you to a menu. Click on recordings and the recording will be there usually the next morning. I hold the Kaiser Live sessions on Monday evenings with very little exception. If I can't hold it on Monday evenings, I will post an announcement that will send you an email. I try to do it early in the week because I just think it's a good idea that whenever you have time to join or to watch the recording, before you get started with any of your reading or any of your work for that week, the first thing you do is read all announcements, watch the Kaiser Live, because then you should have a full understanding of what is expected that week and what you're supposed to do. Should save you time. And then when you read your chapters, many of the concepts that you're going to be reading about, I have already discussed briefly in a Kaiser Live session. So then the information is sort of familiar to you. It helps you put the information from your short-term memory into your long-term memory. And I just think it's a really good way to start the week and understand exactly what you need to do that week so you can schedule accordingly. The Start Here link is always important. You're going to take your pretest, obviously, and submit your certification immediately. Very important to certify that the work you're submitting is yours. The rubric for the discussion board is here. And then every chapter has the PowerPoints here that in addition to reading the chapter, when you're preparing for your quizzes and your exams, you always want to also review the PowerPoints, even though I send you a copy of the PowerPoint that I use in the Kaiser Live session. These are more detailed PowerPoint, just highlighting some of the key terms and concepts from your chapters. Let's go back. I wanted to make sure, always a really important idea to download the syllabus and to read it carefully. You know, the syllabus is really a contract between the instructor and Kaiser and the student, indicating what is the expectations of both. So here's your course, here's my contact information. Kaiser Lives, typically Monday evenings, but watch announcements for any changes or confirmation. I always send you an announcement to confirm it. It tells you the goal of the program you're in as well as the course outcomes, which is important, that the assignments and the reading should all align with the course objectives. And then this is always important to review for every course because they're different. You know, this course has a lot of work involved, it has a lot of quizzes involved, but everything has a different percentage amount, so you just want to keep track. So in the event you are short on time, you can prioritize what's the most important. Obviously, week 4 is always really key because the discussion is 5% each week, and then your final exam in most courses is always 25%, and then your post-test is 5%. So that's 35% in week 4, very important to make sure that you schedule appropriately to allow enough time to do a really good job in week 4 because it's 35% of your grade. And then obviously you've got an essay that's 10% and 2 case studies that are 10% and everything else is 5%. So plan accordingly. This is the textbook. I had sent you an email before the class began with a quick screencast of how to go online with the Kaiser Online Bookstore, how to order the book. Hopefully you all have the book. Important to have it first day of class so that you're not behind. It's just important to think ahead. I realize that finances is challenging, but you know, 4 weeks goes by quickly. So when I have students contact me saying, oh, you know, they just ordered it and the week 1 is already passed, you know, that's just not a good idea. We have a lot of information to cover, and every course is only 4 weeks long. So here's your book. Hopefully that you have that. And then every week, the beginning, it'll have a to-do list. So it kind of gives you an overview of the week, as well as I review this in our Kaiser Live each week. It tells you what you're needing to do, what your reading is. And then there's media every week that you're going to want to review. Some of your assignments are dependent on you reviewing the media, and then some is just actually supplemental information that's going to help you understand the concepts that you're reading about. And then you can also use the media as part of your resources when you're posting, and you can cite the media as one of your resources if you cite it. Another key point when you're citing is that very, very important that the reader can always determine for every post or assignment or whatever that every sentence or every paragraph, where did the information come from? If there is no in-text citation, and that's just merely in parentheses the author and the year in the body of your post, and then with a full citation of APA format down at the bottom, but the reader should always be able to determine for every sentence or paragraph, whatever, what information came from which source, which should be cited at the bottom, because if it doesn't have an in-text citation, then the reader should be able to assume that it came from your own knowledge or experience. So in-text citation, very important. Full citations in APA format, very important for all assignments. So every week you will have this kind of detail. What's required. You'll have media. The discussion board brings you back to that one link that has all the discussions for every week. Week 1, obviously, there's a quiz, and then you have an essay that is comparing 2 of the different managerial leadership approaches that you're going to be reading about in Chapter 1. And then week 2, same thing for all the weeks, exactly what's expected. So I'm not going to walk through each one of those. I'm like a lot of communication with my students. I think email is the best way to contact me because just like you, I have my phone with me all the time. As you know, there's an Ask Questions section in the discussion forum each week, which everyone can see, and that is an option, but just keep in mind that I only see that when I'm logged into the course and actually logged in and looked at it, which I do a couple times a day, but I'm not always logged in, and even if I'm logged in, I'm not always logged into this discussion forum. So email is really quick. I try to give you the quickest response possible. So I, have my phone. I try to get back to you even if I have to research something. I'll try to get back with you and say, let me look it up. I'll try to get back with you later when I get home or whatever. So I really recommend that you email me with any questions. But once you've read the announcements, once you've watched or joined the Kaiser Live sessions, if you have any questions that I can help you understand the assignment, make sure you're successful in this class, help save you time, I'm happy to do it and happy to get to know all of you. Many of the names were new to me, and a few are I've had before in other classes. So I'm excited to work with you. This is a very relevant course that you're going to be able to use to expand your resume, which I think you should do after all your courses. Provide a little summary of each course on your resume so that you can highlight the key concepts that you've learned in each course, because for future interviews, that's going to be really important for your interviewer to know that you have a sense of all these different concepts and the business side of medicine, regardless of whether you're going into an administrative role in the future or a clinical role. Employers love applicants that understand the administrative side of medicine, so you really want to highlight that. And then you want to keep notes on each course for yourself, because you don't want to put something on your resume that you won't be able to speak to in the event that you're asked about it in a future resume. So welcome. Email me and let me know if I can help you. And I look forward to reading all of your introductions. Please let me know about yourself, where you are in your program, and what kind of work you're doing, what your life is like, and let's try to make this online forum a little bit more personal. So talk to you soon, and see you next week.